How fucking irresponsible of me to tell people to pursue their dreams and give up their shitty fucking corporate day job that they work 70 hours a week at. My bad. Well, I posted a video yesterday in response to a Bloomberg article that took a big shit on people's dreams of becoming a YouTuber. Today's video is a little bit more broad spectrum in terms of anybody pursuing a creative dream over a corporate one. Because I got a comment that triggered me, and when that happens, videos sometimes happen, and I'm really kind of fired up on this topic, so the topic I was originally going to talk about, I will push off a bit. But this will also be a good illustration of how I'm using this new video filming format of, slightly lower quality, 1080p, and doing all this shit. But anyways, without getting into the technical bullshit that no one really gives a fuck about, I wanted to discuss the comment that triggered me, and then I want to delve into it deeper. I want to do a deeper dive. And I gotta say, first of all, to Omni Panda, who is the person that commented this, it may seem like I'm gonna pick on you a little bit. I still love you. I love everybody that watches my channel, even the vegans. Even the hateful vegans, even the hurtful vegans, even the vegans that take a shit on everything I do. But every once in a while, I like a good, debate on a topic, especially when it comes to something like minimalism and consumerism and these things that, I believe have held back in our happiness, our contentment, have destroyed our ability to do anything but distract ourselves with, whatever dopamine inducing fucking things we can, and then missing out on the larger picture of what we could accomplish if we gave up the shit that's holding us down. And this is a minimalist topic, so if you don't give a shit about minimalism or you're not interested, then, don't watch. But, I am trying to live my life this way, and I'm trying to accomplish something here that many people, I feel, miss out on because of the mindset of this particular comment. It kind of illustrates it in a more subtle way. But there are people that are even further down the rabbit hole in terms of the mindset that keeps people in this hamster wheel of corporate jobs that they hate. I want to stress that up front. If you love your corporate job, if you're making good money, if you're making a good living, minimalism can still help you. You can enjoy more of your earnings. But if you hate your fucking job, you dread going to work, but you do it because you fucking have to. I gotta make a living. I can't do the job I dream about because I gotta make a fucking living. I hate this job. It makes me miserable. I have to come home and watch Netflix for 4 hours before going to sleep every day, all while drinking 4 or 5 fucking beers just to take the edge off from all the bullshit I gotta deal with all fucking day. If that sounds a little bit like you, then you might want to watch. All right? Because the things that I'm talking about and that are out there for you to go on research, much like fasting, much like keto, you can go out and find these things. people who have done this, people who are living their dream, whatever their dream may be, and surviving, and are happy. Now, it's not perfect. I'm not guaranteeing that you'll succeed. There are things you have to do. Some of those things do suck, but they don't suck as much as working in a corporate job that you hate for 70 hours a week. There's no level of suck that can bring you to that level of suck. If you hate your job, you hate your life, you're doing it because you have to, then you need to reevaluate how you live your life, in my opinion. And I was there. I had a living wage. I had money. I had all of that. I was making well above the median income of the average income of $41,000, I think is what the last average living wage is in the USA. I've since changed my mindset. I'm going to drink my coffee while I'm doing this. It's going to be a long one. So, Omni Panda, I'm going to first address that comment. Sigh, you're being disingenuous. No, I'm not, by the way. I've been completely open and honest on this topic. So, you are going to tell a young person to quit your stable, plush job for YouTube, post every day, make interesting shit for the shifting, abusive masses, and add podcasts, add Patreon, sell swag, beg watchers for donations. First of all, let me address this. There is a great deal of bitterness I'm detecting in your comment. You are definitely miserable, but feel like you're locked in to whatever the fuck it is, because if you weren't, you wouldn't even be bothering with this. So I'm definitely, sensing a certain amount of misery and bitterness behind your entire comment. And, maybe you might want to consider looking into this. No, obviously you're not going to listen to me, but maybe you can listen to somebody else. And we're going to get to a few people who I think could help someone like you really kind of reevaluate how they look at their life. So that you're not so bitter and miserable as this seems. Beg watchers for donations. Oh, and even with all the extra side income, you still don't have a living wage. And so you do Uber on the side. Okay. Now, first of all, we have to define poverty. Poverty is when your basic survival needs are not being met. This is food, shelter, clothing, medical in some cases. And notice I said in some cases there. Food, shelter, clothing, and medical. Transportation being kind of optional, depending on how you structure your life. Transportation's not optional for me, and I have it. And it pays for itself via Uber. Holy shit, my car pays its own bills. That's great. I don't have to worry about gas. I just run some trips, put gas in the tank, and I can go wherever the fuck I want to go. It's really that simple. I trade time. I took control of time from corporate America and gave it back to myself. I took that power out of the hands of others and gave it to myself. Some people aren't able to handle that, by the way. You have to kind of have a work ethic to do this successfully. I mean, if you just want to sit on your ass all day, then you probably are going to be in poverty. You're not going to meet your basic needs. And you're going to probably want more than what you're capable of producing. The whole tenet of minimalism is to remove all the excess baggage that's weighing you down that you really doesn't bring you happiness or value. It's not a set thing. There are rich minimalists, there are poor minimalists, there are people in the middle. There's all kinds of flavors of this philosophy, but the core tenet is to remove things from your life that hold no value or meaningfulness to you. And as you do that, you free up your most important commodity, time. Time is what you are, it's the currency that you are spending. A lot of people think money, 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 money. No, it's time, 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 time. How much fucking time does it take you to make that money? So I would want to be sure that if we took that money out of the middle and we just had time outgo versus time of fulfillment, time of happiness, how does that factor in? Am I spending all of this time making this money, doing these things? Let me put my face up. Am I spending all this time making this money just to watch it fly out the window, to waste it on momentary small pleasures when I could be doing more fulfilling things like going to St. Lucia or any of these other fucking things that I've managed to accomplish while being below the poverty line? You're kind of just, you're parroting the societal norm of you have to get a job, you have to go out and get your health insurance, you have to go out and do this or you can't support a family, you have to be a slave to corporate America, you cannot pursue your dreams, that you should just go out and get your plush job, which by the way most people don't have. The people I'm talking to in particular aren't the ones with the plush jobs, the ballers, the people that are having six-figure incomes and shit. That is just as unattainable as being like Casey Neistat on YouTube. Not everybody's going to rise to the top. I'm trying to advocate for a lifestyle that you don't have to rise to the top. You can be happy right down here at the poverty line. And we need to break that mindset if you want to have a happier life. It took me a lot of years. I treaded that water. I chased the big dollars. I wanted to make $50,000, $60,000 a year, and I got there. And when I got there, by the time I got to 60,000, which is a modest goal, most people pursue 100K or, some fucking baller lifestyle in a big baller house in the big baller side of town without any baller, any crime around them or anything. And they have this nice little gated community. People are mowing their fucking lawns and walking their fucking dogs. The American dream. Get out there and get it. Yeah. And trade all of your fucking time for it. Everything. All of it. Yeah, you get your 2-week vacation. You might get your weekends off, which you generally spend decompressing from all the stress and misery caused by that corporate job. You're constantly under the thumb of your debtors and the people you owe money to because of the shit that you've bought that you really don't even fucking use. Probably sits in a fucking corner of your house somewhere that doesn't cause you any pleasure. And, occasionally you might remember that it's there and use it, and you try it out for a little bit, and then it goes right back in its little fucking section of the square footage of the house that you're in debt up to your eyeballs to pay for. And you gotta break free of all of that if you want control of your time. Now, I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm not saying don't work. I'm saying get control of your time. That's what entrepreneurism is. And if nobody chased that dream, if nobody started out below the poverty line, if nobody made sacrifices to build something from nothing, we wouldn't have jobs for motherfuckers to just go to and have their plush jobs with their full fucking benefits and all of the fucking shit that goes with that. No. That shit wouldn't exist. Somewhere, somehow, that business started. It didn't just get handed down from generation to generation. Most businesses start by some broke-ass motherfucker who didn't have shit, living in a room with, or in a house with 10 roommates, or at home with their parents, or, wherever the fuck they're doing, and they started that business. And it grew. And eventually, everything came to them. But they had their time. They controlled their life. And many people become very passionate and work 70, 80 hours a week at their business. But that is fulfilling for them. They are happy doing that because they are building their own shit. They are making their dream come true. And it's not all roses. There's bad points. There's good points. There's times when this shit doesn't work out quite the way you want it to. There are stress and moments and everything that comes with a business. I've never said that this is an easy thing to do, what I'm doing. And what many other people who break out and chase their dreams do. I'm here to say that I'm doing it in a minimalist way, intentionally. And I will probably continue to live in this income bracket despite growth or success in the several income streams that I do to maintain my life. That allows me to spend 40 plus hours a week, if not 50 or 60 hours a week, producing content for this channel. This channel would not be what it is today had I not quit that corporate job. You all remember the days of one video a week, maybe. That video generally just being a rant from inside the truck. There wasn't no going out and doing things or anything. No, it was work and more work and then playing fucking video games on my fucking decompression time and then working. Now I've gone to, on trips. I've gone across the fucking world. I've gone down to St. Lucia. I plan on doing more trips in the future. I'm already got a trip planned for March, or is it no, May. For May, this shit wouldn't happen if I was locked into the corporate world like you suggested. My plush job, paying for my fucking huge ass house that I really don't need. Even if I had a family, I would not need a big house. Basically, if someone's going to be in a relationship with me, they're going to have to be on board with my lifestyle, which probably means I'll be single for a while, given our current culture and the mindset that you've illustrated here in your comment. So it's defining a living wage. And there's nothing wrong with adding temporary income streams, all of which I have full control over, by the way. Uber, that you talk shit about here, that I have full control over that. I work that when I want to. I do not have to work that. I do it to pay for the car, pay for the expenses of the car, pay for the gas, pay for any extra bullshit I want to do, that on the chances that I do want to spend money on something, it's there. I turn it on. I make the money. I buy the fucking thing I want. I go to the restaurant I want to go to. I go to a movie I want to go to. I accomplish all of that extra shit just from Uber. My bills are paid. Everything's taken care of by YouTube in this channel and the generosity of people who have contributed because I've brought value to their life. I'm not begging. They see fit to contribute to the channel because I've contributed to their health, their wellness, their happiness, or whatever reason. However I've helped them, they feel compelled to return the favor. That is not begging. That is not standing out on a corner with a sign going, please give me money, while doing nothing for the people you're asking for money from. I work hard on this channel. I provide content. I don't, I used to think like you and be a little uncomfortable with the concept of people contributing. And then I realized I was paying Netflix. And Netflix was entertaining me. That was bringing value to my life. So is it wrong for YouTubers to accept? And given the amount of free content I post for everybody, with ads, of course. But if I couldn't make a livable wage, as you like to quote a lot, doing this, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to. I do have to survive. I do have basic needs that do have a monetary cost. But I'm here to tell you that if you embrace minimalism and you get rid of all that extra shit and you downsize and you use the minimum amount of shit that you need. And I'm not there yet, by the way. I'm not the perfect minimalist. Nobody should be coming to me and being, oh, I want to live like he does, because I'm fucking that up here and there. And I'm still learning, just like with fasting and keto and all of that. It was a learning process, and it's the same with this lifestyle. But I can tell you, since I've started applying it in my life, things have fallen into place that I never anticipated. Things are happening in my life that I never saw coming, that I didn't think were even fucking possible, all from embracing minimalism. And that is probably beyond the scope of what you consider a living wage. I can live comfortably on $15,000 a year. I've already done the math. I'm prepared to live at that level because I know I have full control of my time. I know I can enjoy personal relationships. I can hang out with my friends. I can be wherever I need to be. Somebody wants me to go do something with them or for them, I can go do that because I can structure my time. I can shift things. I can move things around. I can even take time off. Yeah. I could literally just say, hey, I'm going to take a week off. I'd let you guys know. I'd be like, all right, it's a week off. I need a week off. Some people get pissed. I'm aware of that. But at the same time, I'm in charge of that. Nobody else. Don't worry, I'm not taking any time off. I like doing this too much right now. And I'm not stressed. I'm not having problems in this department. So I don't feel the need to take time off. But keep in mind, if this becomes a thing where I'm finding it difficult to produce content because I'm miserable in some way, I will take time off. I have the power to do that. And I don't have to ask. I don't have to do shit. I can just say, look, I need this week. I'm going to go do this. And that's how it's going to happen. I'm in charge of that. YouTube doesn't control my life. My viewers don't control my life. My contributors don't control my life. Nobody controls my life right now but me. That is what I wanted. That is my dream. That is my goal. And if it takes 5 to 10 income streams to make that happen, I'll do it. But each one of them little fucking income streams, I'm in charge of. And taking control of your life, in my opinion, is the only way to be happy. When you're in charge of your life, when nobody's telling you what to do, that's happiness. So, sorry. A little fucking fired up and shit. Uber, by the way, will almost certainly fuck over drivers when they IPO. I keep hearing people telling me how Uber's fucking drivers over. I have yet to be fucked over financially by Uber. Their customer support has left some to be desired. That has improved, by the way, since I've been working for them. And I have no complaints on Uber paying me enough to do. And, that's the thing that you have to think about. It's still a business. You are an independent contractor when you work with Uber. You're in charge of your income, not Uber. Uber takes their cut for the service they provide, and that's connecting people who want rides with you, which, believe it or not, takes a whole lot of marketing out of your hands. Anybody who's starting a business will let you know how big of a deal, and the same thing with YouTube, by the way. They're taking the marketing out of your hands. You don't have to do a massive amount of advertising, and it helps. You can build a better Uber business that way, by the way, if you take the extra time. If you wanted Uber to be your full-time gig, you probably should take the time to build a clientele to get people who regularly go to you and Uber through you. You're in charge of that. It is your job. For me, it's a part-time thing that I use to pay for my vehicle. I use to pay for expenses. I use to pay for disposable shit. Shit that I know is dopamine, that isn't going to be as fulfilling. And sometimes I'll use it to pay for trips. I'll hit the Uber really hard, and then go on a road trip somewhere. All the while, my other income stream still providing income during that road trip. During my trip to St. Lucia, I was still getting ad revenue. People were still contributing to the channel even though I wasn't fucking putting videos out. And, you know, that's what the beauty of having more than one income stream and diversification can provide for you is you're not stressed. You know that at the end of the day, your bills are paid. And it helps to not have a lot of bills and not be in debt up to your fucking eyeballs and not have a huge mortgage and a huge car payment and all of this other payment shit that people do that they feel they have to do that locks them into that corporate job to make that living wage. That living wage you're talking about includes debt, includes all kinds of things that you don't really need to do in your life that you could do a different way and still get to where you're fucking going. So how was the article wrong again? I really do not mean to insult your way of life, but your financials are precarious even for a single guy. How are they precarious? I have backup plans. If one income stream goes down, I have other income streams to fill in the gap. And I also have my fallback of going back to the truck if I choose. I've told everyone in that previous video that you need to do these things. It's not all roses. There are preparation things that you can do, and you can do them at any time in your life. Sometimes it may take you, depending on how big your hole you dug for yourself is, it'll take you a while to get the fuck out of that mess. I didn't dig a very deep hole. I was debt-free when I started. I was living in the truck when I started this. I had just gotten out of a relationship where I was in a house and paying a shit ton to live there in a huge house that I only used pretty much one room in. And yet, you know, you see what I'm saying there? It's evaluating that extra shit on the edge of your life that is holding you back from pursuing your dreams. If you have a talent or you want to develop a skill, but you can't get there because you're stuck at working in the corporate plush job to pay your living wage that you built, which is probably going to require $40,000 to $50,000 a year to maintain your lifestyle. If you change your lifestyle, you don't require $50,000 a year. If you lower your overhead, you don't have to have a shit ton of money to make a living wage. Where your basic needs are met, some of your wants are even met, and you get out there and pursue meaningful work, things that you like doing, that you don't hardly consider work. There are aspects to being a YouTuber I consider work. I don't like massive amounts of editing. Research can be a work at times. Sometimes I enjoy it, but then sometimes it's dry and dull and boring, and I have to kind of force myself to get through it. You know, so it's not all roses. But overall, it's more fulfilling. At the end of the day, I'm helping a lot of people. At the end of the day, it's causing me happiness. It's causing me accountability for my own personal health and wellness. And it's growing like a community of people that previously wasn't here in this concentrated little area of my channel. Wasn't here before. Now here we are. We get together regularly on live streams. We do all of this stuff together. We share in our victories. We share in our defeats. And we, as a whole, have come a lot further in our journeys because I'm able to do this. I didn't get anywhere near that fulfillment out of fucking driving that truck down the road or making my living wage to support a lifestyle that I couldn't live because I was in the truck all the fucking time. Yeah, I could go and have the house and all of that shit. The premium health insurance, all of that crap. I could have all of that. Turns out when you get good control of your health, you don't need as much health care. Just saying. You have to bust your ass either way, YouTube or truck. Well, I pretty much just covered that. a matter of the fulfillment you get from your work, not how much work you do. And having full control of your own time, being your own boss, that's important for happiness and fulfillment. You know, it's not stress-free. There are plenty of people who are entrepreneurs who are overworked and overstressed. And I would probably, if I got to that point, evaluate what I'm doing and try and correct what's causing me the overstress. If I felt I had become too much of a slave to one of my businesses, I would either scale back the business or hire somebody to help take the burden off of me. I'm not to that point, and I'm not to that stress level yet. I'm kind of happy where I'm at right now. As far as workload, as far as what I have to get done for the channel, you know, I'm content. You know, I'd like to shave some more hours off of my work week, and I'm working hard at workflow things so that I can still provide content and have a little more time to not work. But bottom line is even if I do work as many hours in this as I did in trucking, for a lot less money, by the way, I still feel happier and more fulfilled and content now than I did in that fucking truck. And there are many people in their jobs right now that feel the same way I did in that truck. What am I doing this for? Why am I making all of this money just to go blow it in bars and waste it here and there on these momentary things that aren't going to mean shit in 2 weeks? That's the struggle I had, and that is where I'm coming from when I'm telling a young kid who's facing do I go out to the fucking world and get this corporate job? Do I run up this fucking huge student loan debt so that I can get the comfy plush job that they tell me I have to have? And a lot of them kids, they get through that. They get $150,000 into fucking student loan debt, and they go out, and that plush job isn't there waiting for them. And they end up living a minimalist life where they feel impoverished because they can't meet their basic needs because they have that huge debt over their head. And in the meantime, they probably ran up consumer debt along with that. Is that the plush life that you want for young people? Is that the goal that everyone should aspire to for success? Because that's what the world wants you to do. They want you to get out there and work these fucked up jobs so that you can pay these debts, so that they can take their percentage of interest off the fucking top, so that they can make money. These schools want you to go in and learn all of these skills from them. God forbid you go out and learn this shit on your own and start your own business and do all of that shit, which costs very little, as I've illustrated. And some of the greatest businessmen in history started out by dropping out of college, you know, but we can get into that debate in another video. You know, you want them to just fall in line and follow this path that society has laid out, which doesn't benefit them. It benefits the society. I'm advocating doing something that benefits you and your happiness. And in so doing, you are benefiting society. If you become an entrepreneur and you pursue your dream, you'll end up employing motherfuckers. You'll be creating jobs. You'll be creating an economy. And people may enjoy working for you. They may find fulfillment in the job that you provide. And like I said before, if you love your job and you're happy and you're making good money and you're surviving and you're not having these issues, then what the fuck are you watching this video for? You know, other than to talk shit about how happy you are to those of us who didn't achieve that with our corporate jobs. And there are plenty of us. Trust me, I hear it all the time. I've seen it. You know, I've worked with tons of truckers who are fucking miserable assholes. I know exactly how it is. I hear it all the time in my driving for Uber. People are bitching about their jobs. They wish they could get out of it. They're in debt up to their eyeballs. I see, you know, people who are like doctors that are supposedly supposed to be successful that are miserable as fuck because they have to work a shit ton of hours just to pay their shit ton of student loans. You know, I don't want any part of that. And I would never encourage a young person today to go pursue that unless they really are passionate about being a doctor or being one of these motherfuckers. You know, if that's your passion, by all means pursue it. Do so in a more minimalist, smarter way without running up tons of debt. You know, but it is what it is. Scott, I don't hate you. I don't hate you either. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm just being critical like you were. I like your content, but sometimes you let your disgust or distrust for the mainstream media overtake you sometimes. Well, I don't trust the media, and with good reason. They're not trustworthy. Since doing the research I do on this channel, I've learned very quickly that the media is biased, that they do have an agenda. I mean, just look at the keto thing from U.S. News and World Report. You think that's an isolated thing? We all know that keto is perfectly healthy, and in the long term, there's plenty of scientific studies that show 5 years plus on the keto diet not having adverse reactions, and now the media is doing everything in its power to take a shit on that. There's probably a 20-to-1 ratio of talking shit about low carb versus, oh, it's healthy. Every once in a while we get the it's healthy thing. They got to draw that crowd in to click their, little video or their ads or keep watching on TV or whatever. So, I don't trust media. Media is disingenuous. They aren't doing things for your best interest. They're doing things to keep you watching. They're doing things to keep you stressed, to keep you divided, to keep you in fear. I have not watched a single news show and been like, that was a good news show. I feel better. I feel great. Have you ever done that? Have you ever watched the news and then left with a warm fuzzy afterwards? Very few positive things come from the media. I've never read a media article, by the way, and especially in the health and wellness realm, and said, oh my God, that's going to help me. I'm going to do that. No. They preach the same commercialized shit that pays their bills most of the time. And we have to step away from that and look at it for what it is. And I sometimes watch from how are they going to entertain me with this bullshit today standpoint. And, they've blurred the line between truth and opinion. It's hard to really trust a source that might be just trying to push their opinion into your fucking head, which is what I believe the media is doing. They're pushing their agenda, their opinions, in the guise of presenting you with facts, many of which can't have holes in them or are cherry-picked or are misinformed in some cases, where they just take some shithead that said that this happened and that's apparently what fucking happened, and then it blows up on the headlines and it goes out, and then 3 days later, oh, by the way, that didn't happen. It was bullshit. That person was lying to you. Oh, do they retract? No. They leave that shit out there to keep getting more clicks. So that's why I don't trust the media, and I won't trust the media. The article isn't wrong. The article is wrong. It just cited. And now let's get into that since we're here. First of all, anyway, I'm just going to finish your comment real quick. But then we're going to get into how the article was wrong and why people should pursue their dreams. The article isn't wrong. Your experience supports their claim. No, it does not. I am not in poverty. All my needs are met. I have a vehicle. I have a decent vehicle. I am doing everything I can. I have medical coverage thanks to the fact that I served my country for 10 years. I have all the food I need. I have a shelter over my head, be it as small as it is. I have all the gear I need to do this job, to do my photography work, to do any visual creative work that I want to do. I have the ability to do that. I have all the software to do that. I have a nice TV to make sure that I can preview my content, both from photography and video, in a nice way so that I know that I'm putting out the best that I can, and I don't always do that. I'm always working to improve that. That's kind of my passion when it comes to being a creator. And I have like games that I could play if I want. I got movies I could watch if I want. I could go out and get movies to watch if I want. So I can do all the temporary distraction bullshit that people do. In addition to being able to go out and travel whenever I want. I can go on a road trip today. I could be like, get a hair up my ass and drive to fucking North Carolina today. Or go down to Florida if I wanted. I could do that. I know I could do that. I choose not to do that because I want to do this, the primary job. But there's going to be times when I just go do that. And I'm setting myself up to be able to do that. Could I do all of that if I was in poverty? If I was crying poverty and not able to eat and not able to keep a roof over the head? No. And I made a lot of sacrifices. I lowered my overhead, all right? I changed how much I have to spend to survive. And that is something that is within everyone's ability to do. It might not take, it might take a few years. If you dug yourself a big hole, you got to dig yourself the fucking way out of it. But, does that mean that you're doomed to stay in that hole? Well, if you have the mindset of this comment, then yeah, you're doomed. You're going to stay in that hole for the rest of your life. You're going to arrive at the end of your life with regret. And that's the number one thing I hear from old people is regret. Older than me. A lot older than me. They regret that they didn't take the time to do some of the things they wish they could have done. And I'm here to tell you, after doing it both ways now, that there's a lot to be said for chasing your dream. And you have to be able to go out and get the knowledge and skills necessary. This isn't just something that's handed to you. This is not something that it was easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. In fact, I would contend it's easier just to go work for a corporate job. You go out, you fill out your job application, you go to the interview, you say, hey, I'm a good worker and shit. And they go, hey, oh, yeah, okay, come on in and give us 80 hours a week of your life. Yeah, come on. We'll take you. You're good. We see that you've given 70 hours a week to this place and 40 hours a week to that place. And, they didn't take big shits on you, so you're good. Go in there with an entrepreneurial resume and they'll be like, wait a minute. You must not like working for motherfuckers. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. So it's important to evaluate. And we're all different. I'm not saying that what I do is right for everybody in every situation. I've come from the other place of trying to live my life according to the way that we are told we have to live our life. I don't want to live by someone else's standard of living. I want my own standard of living. I want control of my time. I want control of my energy. I want to know that I could stay up till 4 a.m. and sleep till noon if I want. And I can. And I do. I want full control of my life and my time while I still have some life left to live. And now that I've made the health changes I need to make, I think I got a lot more of that. Not to mention I'm not going to die in a fucking truck because I'm not in the fucking truck. And my Uber time is 15 hours a week I put into Uber? Oh, that's really fucking breaking my bank, I'm really impoverished. I have to work Uber 15 whole hours extra a week. And I don't have to. I choose to in most cases, and I really only do so when it looks like I'm going to make good money. If I get out there, I play one of the things I do with Uber is I'll go out to the other side of town, I'll turn the app on, and then try and drive home. And if I can get into the driveway before the app goes off, then I don't work that night. That's my game. And I've been losing that game quite a bit. I end up having to just turn off the app at some point because I've been working too much. But on the nights when I don't make it home, when I don't make it to that driveway, I'm making $20 an hour. That's what it takes in the amount of rides I get to keep me out. If I'm making $8 an hour like everybody says you make, or $6 an hour, I've seen $3 an hour when you take into account expenses, never mind the fact that it's a shared expense with your personal transportation needs. They don't do that math at MIT, by the way. And, it's, they don't quantify the whole shared, expenses, how you're using it to pay for things that you would otherwise be paying for with other money. In that regard, Uber helps pay for everything, is in regards to transportation, in regards to getting to where I want to go. Sometimes I want to go to the fucking, go out to a restaurant on the other side of town. Guess what? Turn the app on, 2, 3 trips. Oh, look at that. That's paid for. There, done. Didn't skip a beat with the rest of my finances. Must be impoverished. Eating prime rib and shit in the restaurant. I was feeling pretty impoverished that day. But because I work for Uber, I must be poor. The article is completely wrong. That article was complete bullshit, all right? It was cherry-picked data. And I don't, know that the study had that intention, but the article had that intention. And, if we get into it and we look at some of the other YouTubers who follow this business. Here's a vegan for you, Jera Sky, and let's hear a little bit from her.
Jumping off points, because if you figure out what you want to do, you're doing a lot, you're putting your work into it, you can make your own website, your business, you run it that way. But these are just quick entry ways for that hustle money. Okay, one of the first ones I'm going to mention is Fiverr. Now, you might think, there's no way I can make a ton of money on Fiverr. Like $5, they take $1, you only get $4 for each job. But now they have a thing where you have structured tiers, you can upsell and charge more money for the better services. There are plenty of articles of people who are making 6 figures on Fiverr.
So to kind of go off of what she's saying there with the multiple income stream thing, there is no shame in that. And you have control of that. Like if I I don't do Fiverr, but it's nice to know it's there. That you can monetize grunt work and talents that you have online. I know how to edit video. I know how to edit photos. I know how to keyword. I know how to research. I know I could go on Fiverr and probably make some money that way. I don't like that work, but I know it's there as an option, as a backup plan that I can do when I want to do it. That's the bottom line. That's controlling your time. I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying you can't, that you're going to be miserable. But the fact is, if you diversify to a point, you can make a livable wage and be in full control of your time. But it starts out at the bottom, like everything else. Nothing's handed to you. You need skills. You need something. You can't just be, a professional gamer. But there are people who do that, but they work hard at that. They research the games. They're learning about that shit all day, every day. They're in the community. They're doing all kinds of work. You think a gaming channel shouldn't exist because no, they're working too. They're working at something they love, so it probably doesn't feel like work. And that's kind of the point of pursuing the dream over the fucking corporate gig is... Do you love the work? Does it feel like work? Are you miserable while you're working? Are you just waiting for the end of the day every fucking day? I don't do that. I work until the work's done. And by the end of the day, sometimes I've gone 12 hours, 14 hours, and didn't skip a beat because I get into what I'm doing. Like in these videos that get long. I know. Some people hate long videos. My bad. This one's going to be long because I got a lot I'm covering in this video. But, take it in small doses or whatever. However you want to consume the content is fine. It's a matter of just really, looking objectively at what you want to accomplish in life, what your goals are, what are the things in your life that you wish you didn't have to do, and how do you get rid of them? It's critical thinking. It's coming up with a plan and executing it. And sometimes you're going to come up with a plan, you're going to execute it, and you're going to fall on your ass. I've done that. I tried to do photography as the one business. And then I learned very quickly that is very difficult. So diversification. Do a bunch of smaller things that if that individual thing fucked up for you, that it won't sink the boat. You have all these other things keeping the boat floating so that one thing doesn't sink the whole fucking ship. And that's what I was telling young people they need to do if they want to be a YouTuber. And that's a fact. To get in further into that, let's by the way, the links to these videos will be in the description. Here's another guy, Conor Mcmillen, artist. That was Jera Sky, by the way. I don't regularly watch her. She just happened to pop up while I was researching this topic. And I've researched the topic before I made the decision to jump into doing this. So the article's still bullshit. I'm sorry. There's no comment in the world that's going to convince me that article was anything but a hit piece. And cherry picking from a study, pretty much, without telling you. Here's another example.
Maybe we're having to put out energy to maintain them, to collect them, to build them. When they break down, we feel upset about it, so there's just a lot of energy going out into these external things, whatever it might be, clothing, vehicles, big houses, whatever it is. And none of those things on their own are evil or necessarily oppressive things. We choose these things. We have chosen them for a reason. We can also take a step back, slow down, and ask ourselves the honest question. Are these things really serving me right now?
And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Being honest with yourself. Don't just try and justify the status quo. Question the status quo. And you'll find yourself rooting out the things that suck about your life. And that's what I've done. There are still things that suck in my life. Arguably, the relationship side of my life, as far as romantic relationships go, has been a fucking train wreck. And I need to address that at some point, not in a big hurry. But, I'm not saying I live this great, perfect life. I have problems here and there as everyone else does, but I am in a much better position to deal with my problems than I was when I was stressed out and miserable in the trucking job all the time. I had plenty of money to deal with the problems, no time to deal with my problems. So there's that. And these are small YouTubers who are making a living wage, as in all of their needs are being met. I believe this guy has somebody living in that trailer with him, in this small living space that you probably would take a dump on and call poverty. He's making an active choice to live that way. And to me, that's what helps define poverty. If you are happy living at a lower income level, and just to illustrate, he, the ad revenue that article talks about, well, he's a small YouTuber. He has, let's see here. He has 36,000. So he's a bigger YouTuber than me. And his ad revenue sucks for that size, by the way. I don't know why that's a discrepancy, because I'm pretty close to that number on track this year for ad revenue. I'll probably make about 4,000 something. And I have a lot less subscribers than him. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. If he's been demonetized or something like that, I don't know. But, you know, I've done the math based on my current 30-day average, and I stand to make about that much from YouTube this year, I believe. And I'm already on my way to it. I think the first quarter I've gone over 1,000 in ad revenue. So, you know, but that's what the article was about, was all about this ad revenue. You know,
is from Google AdSense. So, $4,665.99. It's not a crazy amount of money, but it is significant. That's pretty good. I'm proud of that amount of money. And as you know from other videos I've made, it's not that I'm just using YouTube solely to make money from.
Hear that?
So there are people who just make videos to get ads and to get the revenue from that. There are also a lot of people who make videos.
And that is a shitty business model, by the way. If you're trying to be a YouTuber as your dream career, that's not how to do it. It's not what you need to do. And all the big YouTubers. Let's look at a big YouTuber while we're at it. Casey Neistat. 9 million motherfucking subscribers. He had shit to say on this article as well.
There are a lot of creators. I think the majority of the creators that I've come in contact with who are first motivated by their own desire to make things and to share their own ideas. And I think it is that fact that motivates a lot of new creators to come to this platform, and people who otherwise wouldn't be filmmakers or content creators or video or TV people.
And if you listen to your comment, we wouldn't have as much creativity on YouTube, would we? Because it takes a lot of time to produce content. It takes a lot of energy. And if we're busy working 70 hours a week for the man, we ain't going to have time to do that shit. I know. I've done it. I started this channel while working for the man. And the content was maybe one video a week, and it slowly grew. And that's what I was saying in that yesterday's video, is take the time to start growing it before you make the leap. Don't just jump in, I'm going to be a YouTuber. No, that's not how it works. You got to get a skill. You got to get something that people value, that they want to watch. And you're asking for a time commitment. I just asked for an hour of your life with this video. And that's kind of the bottom line. So to finish off, YouTube versus nursing versus burger flipping versus trucking versus coding, who knows? Life's hard either way. As a YouTuber, trucker, no, life is harder as a trucker than as a YouTuber, by the way. I can make that claim with no reservations. If life was more suckful for me as a YouTuber, while I have a fucking CDL in my pocket and could hop right back in and make $60,000 a year tomorrow if I wanted to, all I gotta do is make a phone call and I'm in a truck again. It's really that simple. I could jump back in at any fucking time, and I don't. That should tell you something. If you have this kind of very pessimistic outlook on life, and I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to look at life that way. I used to feel the same way. I used to think just like you think in this comment. And waking up that there's more to life than money, than big house, than a huge fancy car, that, a lot of people take a shit on my little Prius, but my Prius is getting it done. It's getting it done, and I'm enjoying driving it. I have, in a small scale, what most ballers have, by the way. I have expensive gear. I've accumulated some of it prior to becoming a YouTuber, and, there's things I've done in my life that allowed me to do this. And you can't skip those steps. You got to get rid of as much debt as you can. You got to lower your overhead however you can. Make cuts wherever you can, and cut things that don't provide value or don't really impact your happiness, which I've done. I did that before I left trucking by living in the truck. And I was raking in all kinds of dough because I didn't spend any of it. And then I end up taking that extra money and blowing it to blow off steam from being in that stressful job. Turns out I don't spend nearly what I spend on entertainment and on these distractions doing this job that I did with trucking. I didn't have to spend shit tons of money to forget my fucked up life. I can do so on a budget. I can do so on the cheap. I can get in the car and spend $2.50 on gas, run an Uber trip to pay for that on the way to where I'm going. One Uber trip covers that fuel cost, and go to some national park in my area and walk in nature, create images, create videos, create content, and love every second of it. And then come back home and having spent less than $5. Turns out when I had $1,000 in my pocket to blow as a trucker, that $1,000 went to like alcohol. It went to all this stupid shit. I would eat out all the time, unhealthily, quite unhealthily. Even as a keto, you're exposed to a whole lot of unhealthy shit if you eat out all the time. I wasted a lot of money. Now that I've cut back on all of that, I don't feel deprived. I don't feel miserable. I don't feel poor. I reduced my extra shit that I wasn't really doing anything for me in the happiness and contentment department, that wasn't helping me along. That shit's gone. And as a result, I don't need to make $60,000 a year. I don't have to make $60,000 a year. I can live comfortably on $15,000 a year in my current lifestyle. If I change that, maybe I want a bigger room. And I might need to pay $500 a month or $600 a month to do that. Then I could easily do that. That's an extra couple days of Uber. And notice I said a couple days of Uber there. Hard to do if you're only making $6 an hour on fucking Uber, right? These are things that people don't take into account when they structure their life. So it's not about, you say, you wrote in here, life's hard either way. As a YouTuber, trucker, nurse, whatever, we just have to be honest with ourselves about what type of hard we want in life. And it's, you shouldn't have to be choosing between levels of suck. If you think that way, you're just going to find more levels of suck. You need to think, how can I not suck? How can this make life not suck? What things about my life suck? You might not entirely hate your job. You might just hate certain parts of your job. How can you improve that? You might not entirely hate your life, but you might hate certain parts of your life. There's certain parts of your life that might be dragging the rest of your life down. Figure out what those things are and how you can either remove them, improve them, change them, and you can start a journey to feeling better about your life. And your comment screams that you're not happy. And, I like to help people that are in that mindset because I was there for a long time. I was lost in that mindset. I can't tell you how many countless depressed, miserable fucking days I spent on that truck. I spent out there in that life. Plenty of money. Living wage, medical, roof over my head that didn't cost me anything, by the way, because I was out on the truck. Provided. Free roof over your head at $60,000 a year. That pretty much like doubles the effective income of that money. Because you're not spending it on living expenses. Some people do it wrong. They're out there on the truck all the fucking time and they're not making money. Because they're sending it all to a house that they don't even fucking get to live in. So, identify the things that suck in your life. Don't be afraid to chase your dreams, but do so in an intelligent way. Structure your life in a way that you learn the skills necessary to pursue your dreams. Figure out what those are, whatever your dream may be. If you want to be a YouTuber, learn how to be a YouTuber. Learn what people want on YouTube and how you can lend, your niche or your vision to that. And then trial and error. Ease into it. Don't jump into it. Make a plan. Have backup plans. Have other streams of income that you can fall back to. Have other skills that you can monetize. I have a lot of skills I can monetize. I have photography. I have video editing capability. I'm learning videography so that I can do client work for videos if I want to. I have all of these ways of making money, hustles in today's terminology, that I can intersperse with my dream until such time as that dream becomes complete reality. I never would have pictured being able to do as much YouTube as I've been doing going into this. I thought I was going to have to bust my ass on 2 other income streams just to make ends meet. You guys have proven me wrong. You've shown me that you value what I do here to the point where you're willing to help keep me doing this more than I do everything else. And I do YouTube more than I do photography. I do it more than I do Uber. Definitely do it more than any part-time job that I may get. I do majority of my work here on YouTube. Is it going to be that way forever? Am I going to be a Casey Neistat of the world? I don't think so. I don't have that goal even. As long as I can keep doing what I'm doing, I'll be content. If YouTube goes under or the channel dies, that'll hurt. I won't be happy about that. But I won't, change my life that significantly either. I would just have to step up one of my other skills and fill in the gap left by YouTube of my little income stream theory. And most successful people, by the way, have multiple income streams instead of putting all their eggs in one corporate basket. It's about having those skills and never stop learning. That's my number one piece of advice. Learn the things that you're passionate about. Be the best you can be at them. And you can make money with them. It's a question of learning how. And the information is plentiful in this. You can go out and find a video on just about anything, how to do just about anything. And your upper limit is limitless, far beyond the living average wage that everyone thinks we have to make to survive. You could exceed that if you work hard enough at improving your skills, at improving your ability to do the things that you've dreamed of doing. It takes hard work. It takes determination. It takes willpower. It takes sacrifice to start out. But that sacrifice pays back tenfold, 20-fold. I don't know how fucking many folds. There's a lot of folds that it pays you back. All right? So that's my advice going forward. Before you go and quit your job to pursue your dream, have a plan, have multiple income streams. Don't think of your life in this box. Think outside the box. My channel's founded on this theory, by the way. If I just thought inside the box, I would never have started fasting. I would never have started keto. I would have never done minimalism. I would have be locked into this same thinking I'm poor because I can't afford the big baller house with the big baller shit inside and all the baller rooms filled with baller shit, and I don't need all of that baller shit. I like a little bit of baller shit. I have some baller shit. My TV could be classified as baller shit. My computer is definitely baller shit. I have baller shit. Just I don't have a lot of it. All right? I got enough baller shit to satisfy my baller needs, which are minuscule compared to some people's. So, that's a little, tossing that out there for Dave and MSP. Who I know is just in good fun fucking with me. But, that's how it is. All right. So if your entire goal is just to make money in life, then that's all you'll ever do. You won't be happy when you do it. Money does not equal happiness. Money generally equals more stress and anxiety and misery the more you accumulate it. And because then you're desired to keep what you got. And then you are forced into a box to maintain a certain level. But that's a whole other video. And I've already gone way too fucking long on this video. So, remember, I'm not a fucking expert. You shouldn't, watch this video and quit your job. Do your homework, learn your skills, learn what you need to do, identify the things in your life that are making you fucking miserable, that are driving you to fuck down, and eliminate or change them for the better. Don't just say, well, I'm stuck here. Gotta keep doing this shit. It's the only way. It's the only fucking way to do this. And I don't care what your situation is. It is not the only way. Think outside the box. There are people with families who do this. There are people in relationships who do this. There are people who take the chances. Now, granted, you have to have a pretty strong relationship. You have to both be on board. There is that. I don't have that problem. Not in a relationship. I'm good. So, take that the way it is. Identify things. Take small steps. Don't try and do it all at once. Fix the small steps first. And minimalism's been a journey for me and continues to be a journey for me. I'm not there yet. I'm not to my minimalist goals yet. There are things in my life that are weighing me down that I'm trying to trim down. Mainly in the gear aspect for my business. I think I'm a little overloaded there and I need to lighten the load. And I'm working on that. And that's what you've been seeing for the past few weeks. So that's my advice. Do the best you can. Don't be miserable. Omni Panda, I hope your outlook on life improves. And please don't pass on that negative outlook. Encourage young people to think outside the box. It's important. We won't have businesses or creative or jobs even if there are not young people out there willing to take the chance on their dreams. All right? And this country is built on dreams. Somebody had a dream somewhere and built it into a business that you go and purchase shit from. When you walk into a restaurant, there was somebody that dreamed about owning a restaurant, that dreamed about being able to cook for a living because they enjoy cooking for a living, And then other people, they give up their dreams or their dreams put on the back burner while they go and work for the people who fulfilled their dreams. I'm just saying it's advisable to be the one that has the dream and pursues it and does the hard work and takes the risks necessary to start a business. And I'm not saying all businesses are going to succeed. I'm not going to say some people start out with inadequate skills or with inadequate business minds or with inadequate ability to do things. And I'm not by all means a great business mind. I know a few things from trial and error, from having more than one attempt at starting a business, and I've by no means been successful as a business person. In fact, my photography business is mediocre at best. It's a part-time business. That's all it is. I could throw a whole lot into that arena and build that into a full-time livable wage, but I found that I feel stifled. I want to be creative. I don't want to lock myself into constant client after client in which they become your boss all the time. That's just my personal preference, though. There are many people who pursue photography or other things like that as a full-time thing. So don't give up your dreams. That's bottom line. And any article that takes a shit on people pursuing their dreams is an inaccurate piece of shit fucking article. That's my review. I have not changed my opinion. Thanks to your comment, by the way. That article was a pile of shit that brought no value to anyone's life. How did that make anyone's life better? Did it save some kid from going and failing at YouTube and learning the hard lesson that, yeah, there's more to this YouTube thing than throwing on a camera and watching the dollar signs roll in? That's not kind of what the article is really doing. The article's saying nobody can do this, pretty much. And I'm here to tell you, as somebody that regularly consumes YouTube, there are plenty of full-time YouTubers out there making a living wage with families, with medical, with all of the shit that you're whining about. And some of them aren't that, they got maybe 100,000 subscribers, which is probably about where I'll top out at, I think, over time. It's going to take me a few years, I think, to get up there. But I do think that I could get up there. It only takes one video to really spring-load you into that. And who knows when my time will come. But in the same time, I'm steadily, slowly growing, which means I'm doing something right. And if I wasn't, I would figure out what I was doing wrong and evaluate. It is what it is. So, I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Sorry for the extra long video today, but I really was triggered by this comment and by the previous article, and I wanted to get it all off my chest, and I figured what better way to do that than to create a lovely video for you motherfuckers. Please like and subscribe for more shit, and I'll make a lot more shit. I'll take shits on articles all day. Also, visit ScottTheTruckDriver.com. If this video helped you in some way, throw a few bucks in the virtual tip jar. I am recording a podcast later this week. I promise. I'll get to it. Kind of don't really need to, even though, because I'm putting out like hour and a half fucking talking head videos here that you could probably just listen to. But, leaving that aside, check that out. You don't have to support if you don't want to. Just watching is enough, ad revenue, that's fine, okay? I don't want anybody contributing that can't, or that are breaking their own bank or sacrificing their own happiness to do that. But if I'm helping you and you want to help the channel and help me be able to take a lot of time to do this, I can. And if there time comes where I can't sustain the time, then I will use one of my other income streams creatively to do so. All right? Or I'll develop a whole new one. That's another thing you can do. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this new little format that I've been doing, where I can come on here and kind of do a little bit of reaction to shit in addition to comments and all of that. And I'm really starting to hone this in to where I can sit here and speak my mind on some of because I receive a lot of this kind of stuff, these comments and articles and videos, and I really want to be able to just sit down and go through them with you guys and give my opinions. And I think that's going to help a lot of people going forward. So have a nice motherfucking day and shit.